Gonna be real. I didn't see this one coming. Tinykin is a Spyro game. It's the most important information that I feel people need to know, which is why I put it right up front. It has the style and structure and approach of your standard collectathon. You've got your stage, whole bunch of stuff to gather in it, a chunk of which is mandatory in order to progress throughout the game. And you have to, there's like a guidance, there's a flow to how you navigate throughout the stage. You gain a couple of new abilities as you go, which unlocks further accessibility and traversal. And it's very, very open. Like in most of these stages are rooms within a house. So you stop here and you could look and you can actually see there's a whole lot of really good landmark designs. So you can see everything that's in position, where you can go, what you can do. There's a glide feature, for God's sakes. But the other thing that really reminds me of actually Banjo as well, Banjo and Spyro both, is the idea of there's lots of little, like, I don't know what else to call them. There's essentially mini quests periodically where you get into an area and it's like, hey, I really wish someone would help me out with this thing. If only they could help me out with this thing. And once you do, it's like, hey, here's your Ghibli, and you get the thing. There's lots of that. The whole game was just an absolute treat and a joy to play. I was shocked at how good it was. Obviously, there's the all-important guidance and flow. There's tons of quality of life features. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Apologies. One of the things that the game looks like is everyone looks at like, oh, it's a Pikmin game. No. I want to be very clear about that. It is a Spyro game with the skin of Pikmin on top of it, which I realize how creepy and serial killer that sounds, but it's still true, so what do you want from me? The kin, in this case, do not operate like Pikmin at all. Pikmin have to be managed and collated, gathered. They can be lost. They are an aspect of, keeping your troop together, and dealing with that is a fundamental part of the gameplay loop of Pikmin. In this game, your Tinykin don't serve any of that. Your Tinykin are more like, honestly, I guess ammo might be a better comparison, And in most cases, it's more of a, do you have enough to progress? Very few of them, only the bombs, are actually expended when you use them. All the rest, they just sit there and they follow you around in a gigantic swarm. It's cool looking, but it's not actually Pikmin, which is fine. I do like the variety of the kit in each of them, too. You've got your basic one, which is go grab something, and then you've got the blow up on something ones to explode things. And then you've got the ones to craft, a platform for you to walk on. You've got the ones you can lay down in order to make electrical thing, which I guess you expend those too as well, excuse me. But then there's the big ones, my favorite ones, which is you drop them and you make a tower of them on the spot. It's kind of crazy how awesome this one thing is. It reminds me a lot of Rush back in Mega Man, something I talked about a lot back then for the 3 of you who actually watched that particular stream, and the 1 of you who watched the Rumination on Mega Man 3. You know who you are, you're awesome. When you add that kind of a kit to a platformer like this, and it's so very carefully and precisely designed, what you've done is you've massively added to the navigatable area that the player can access, because you've added a verticality in a game that already has a float mechanic. So, and now we have access to this huge swath of area that you can just paint out almost like a mushroom cloud over this one spot of places you can reach now, just because you have this ladder, because that's functionally what it is. You can just plop down a ladder of variable height wherever you are, depending on how many of them you've gotten. But it gets even better than that, because there's actually a quality of life feature where you can just pop the button and just go straight up wherever you happen to be standing. So no awkward or cumbersome tossing a thing, so it's quick and easy to use. In addition to and that's the game in a nutshell. The whole game is quick and easy to use. It controls smoothly. It plays smoothly. It looks really smooth. The animation style is certainly very unique. I'm not sure if it's exact for everyone. I know a lot of people were really rooted out about it. I will also admit, one of my only complaints about the game is that the 2D art style of the sprites actually made it legitimately difficult to tell positioning sometimes, because it's a 3D space. You're navigating as a 2D, like a picture, essentially. And so the actual collision is a little bit off every now and again. And that did cause some issues, I'm not going to lie. But very, very cute, very, very fluid. The terrain design's great. The level design's great. Lots of visual distinction. Lots of paths for how to progress. Like I said, you don't have to pick up everything. So how much you get in a given stage is totally up to you. For the record, we 100% of the game because I wanted to, because it was fun. Having said that, I will also admit we almost didn't. We got to the point where we were only missing like 10 things here, 3 things here, 1 thing here, and 4 things there. This is one of the only mistakes the game makes, in addition to the positioning thing. There's really no guidance for that. You know if you have everything, but that's it. Some games will do a thing where, like, at a certain point you can, like, scan for some, or you can pulse for them, or there's, like, a person who says, maybe there's something over by this area, or maybe they have an outline that you can see from a distance, something to at least indicate an idea of where you can start searching next. You don't have to literally tell me where the next collectible is. That would actually be kind of bad. But you need to at least tell me the direction I need to go exploring it, right? So it kind of stumbles on that point. And also during the race section, sorry, I forgot to talk about that. I say 100% of the game. That's actually a lie. I apologize. I forgot. We didn't do the races because the races suck. The races actually literally take control away from the player while you're going through it. So that sucks for all kinds of reasons. But everything else about the game is so fun. I honestly could see myself playing this again. Probably I will do that sometime with my niece. The visuals are brilliant, of course. It's set inside a house. And the amount of time and effort that was put into making everyday household items not only be present for the all-important familiarity effect, but also in a way that informs level design, gameplay-wise, and helps look like the kind of thing bugs actually would be using in order to flesh out the world story-wise. There is a tremendous amount of brickwork and visual storytelling and doodad design in the visuals of this game, to the point where I was shocked at how good it was. And that's in addition to the fact that there's a surprising amount of good in-depth world building here. This is a setting, I don't want to spoil too much, of course, but this is a setting where there's a lot of recurring characters and a lot of recurring themes. We find out about cultural and species biases that exist amongst the bugs who exist on this house. We find out about how their trade and their economy works. We find out about the people who are controlling whom and how. We find out about the politics of these people. And there's a surprising amount of depth to this, and it is surprisingly dark and properly well told. And I honestly love it. I was completely down for the whole thing. And the best part, and I'm not going to spoil, but the ending was a huh moment, but it did it properly. One of the mistakes a lot of games make is they want to end on a huh as kind of a hook for the future. They want you to be playing to the next game, right? But they don't. The mistake most games and shows and books and movies make is you also need to make your ending satisfying in and of itself. The events of the thing you have gone through have to at least have some degree of conclusion, even though the overall story continues going forwards, right? You can probably think of examples of this right off the top of your head in movies, in games, books, and shows. And in this game, the events of this game are thoroughly and satisfyingly concluded, even though the mystery, which was being built up throughout the course of the entire game, is now put right up on display. What are they there for? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? There's questions, and then the game ends. I really, really recommend this game. If you're any kind of a fan of 3D platformers, or collectathons, or even just a general chill game, to just play and relax from it. This is a great game to just chill, just relax, you know. It's been a long day. Just pop up, screw around with it for a bit. I loved this game to death, and I hope you do too. See you next time.